Welcome back to another light video. I've got the second Astrolux that Banggood sent in. This is the FT03 Mini, and I'm looking at the SST40 version. That's the one they sent in. They do a few different options with this. You can get it with or without the battery, and there's an XHP50. That's another emitter. I don't have that to test, but we'll carry on with the review. This is the pack that you get with the light. There's the user guide, and I'm going to scan that out later on, because it is fairly advanced options on that. Couple of spare O-rings, and you also get bundled a wrist strap. Now I did find this a little bit on the small side. I usually prefer slightly bigger, but it did fit. These are the dimensions of the torch with the different tubes, because you've got the two included, and you can see it's a reasonably compact light for an 18650 thrower. Type C charging port on the side, and all of the machining and threads is quite nicely made on this. Quite a meaty spring on the bottom. The one that they sent me does have the Samsung 30Q battery, and this particular battery, they are genuine Samsung, just in case you're wondering. I did test that, and I'll just show you over a few other areas of the light. Nice machining overall on this, gotta say, no sharp edges, and unscrewed the head. This is quite an easy torch to mod as well if you want to get in there and do things to it. I'll just attach the small tube now so you can see that. I don't have any of those batteries around at hand, but I'll be using the 18650s. We've got a smooth reflector and what they call a Texas Avenger driver, which sounds quite exciting, especially if you're from Texas. Do let me know in the comment section below. I'll spare the English Texas accent impersonation I was going to do. Inside you can see very easy to get to the LED, and that plastic part there, that's just a shim that holds a reflector. And it does have the AR coating on it. You see the purple tint. Quickly look at the UI, single press on off with a mode memory. If you're turning it on, just hold it in to get to the lowest output. When this ships, it's in the ramping power by default, and it's got a couple of points where it flashes. At the midpoint and at the highest output, you get a quick flash. To change between the ramping and stepped output, just hit the switch 3 times, and then it will give you the 7 steps. You can actually go in and change that. I'll show the user guide just after the basic UI, which I'm showing you here. Strobe's a little bit trickier on this because you've got to double click it and then hold it in, and then 2 clicks will cycle through the different strobe modes that you have, but it does at least remember the last one that you used when you go into the strobe mode. Momentary 5 clicks, and the lockout is 4 clicks. And they've also included what they call a muggle mode. This just limits your output between about 10 to 300 lumens, and even if someone takes out the battery and put it back, it still stays in that mode. It's more of an anti-child mode as far as I can see. There's the auxiliary LEDs. You can turn them off. You can also customize them if you want to. So just hit the side switch 7 times on that, and then you can switch them off if you don't want them. Do have a battery check as well, so hit the side switch 3 times, and then double press. You can actually change the modes on that, but it keeps repeating that over and over until you press the switch again, and then your normal 2 clicks to get to the turbo output, and a double click again will take you back to the last mode. I did scan the user guide for you just to give you a better idea, because it's easier to explain it looking at this rather than trying to show all of the UI. It can get quite complicated, although you can keep it fairly simple. It's an open source UI, so if you haven't used it before, it will definitely take a while to get used to. Only complaint I have is possibly that strobe mode. Water resistance on this, they're saying it isn't fully waterproof, in other words, not to submerge it in water. And these are your charging speeds, pretty good, 1.63 amps, and it terminates around about 4.16 volts. The side switch illumination, that just seems to be to locate the light. It doesn't seem to make any difference for the battery level. I did run the battery right down, and it does protect itself. It cuts off around about 2.8 volts. But we'll move on to the beam shots. We're starting with the Unicorn, 850 lumens, quite a warm tint on this light. It's around about 4000 kelvins. And the FT03 Mini, the ramping on this, it's not the lowest output, and I'll take it up to the highest output. Quite a nice range on this light. They're quoting over 500 meters, and it seems to be around about the 2000 lumen mark. What I'll do now is run a few more beam shots, and then come back at the end with a quick summary and conclusion on this light. Couple of thoughts with the Astrolux, quite a nice little light. Like the fact you can pick different colours for this. Nice beam, good range, pretty decent spill as well once you start ramping the power output up. And you've also got a choice of the batteries, and I do like to see the Type-C charging port. There are a few drawbacks. The UI can get a bit complicated if you start diving into some of the custom functions. I'm not entirely sure that the auxiliary LEDs are that useful. Only other point to note is sometimes the FT3 is a bit cheaper than the Mini. I'm not exactly sure why that is. If anyone's got any thoughts on these lights, do drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching the video. I will catch you soon.